Hello there. My name is Ed Romero, and this is the Out of Office Chat, where I talk about life outside the office. And today, I just want to catch y'all up on how things have been going on in my life. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Before diving in, please subscribe to the podcast, like this episode, and follow me on Instagram. It would help the podcast grow and would mean a lot. Cutting straight to the chase. My wife and I have added a new member to our family. Yay! We have a second son that was born at the end of May, turned 2 months a couple of weeks ago. And man, does time fly, y'all. After he was born, I had a month off. I loved it. It was phenomenal. I mean, I was without sleep, like my wife, but it was great. You know, I got to be with my wife, my two sons, basically cooking, cleaning, doing groceries, playing around with my eldest. It was great. Thankfully, we had a village that helped and supported as well. Folks that actually dropped off some foods and checked in on us. It was awesome. We've been on a lack of sleep. Surprisingly, you get used to it. You know, I use the late nights to watch a couple of movies and shows, Archer, Godzilla, and more on this in a little bit. But you know what? You do get used to it. I think with my first son, the sleep deprivation hit me like a bus, right? And this time around, it's been a little bit more smooth, which I enjoy. I have not been able to get into good routine for reading books. As you all know, as I've mentioned in the past, my go-to was to fall asleep, to actually head to bed, read a book, and then fall asleep thereafter. It's a little tougher because, you know, I'm trying to feed the baby, trying to read a book, and then the baby fidgets, and it's like I drop my book and I lose my place. So it's not easy. I've tried the audiobook thing, and it's not bad. I just it's tough to multitask. I'm not one for it. I mean, with that, I still want to read. I'm not sure where it's going to land in the next couple of months. I think things should normalize the sleeping patterns. Now he's taking a few more stretches. It used to be he'd wake up every hour, every 2 hours. Now we're about every 3 or 4 hours he's waking up. So it's going pretty good. What I've been enjoying a lot is I've been watching my oldest son interact with my youngest, and it's been very beautiful. And you know, he gets these moments of jealousy. It was really early on, not so much as now. He's very independent. He's an age where he kind of can play on his own if he needs to. My oldest gets very excited to see his younger brother, like really happy. I'll be feeding my youngest, and my oldest will walk in and he'll be like, "Hola." It's really cute. So with the growing family, you know, there are things that, you know, continue to come to mind as a father and as a husband. So as you recall in episode 18, I wanted to make sure that we were more, I guess, positioned financially well, which is why I talk about my nest egg and some of the savings changes I've made. I'm not going to lie. Money is something I typically think about a lot. And it's kind of, you know, that's the kind of double-edged sword about being an independent consultant, right? You have a ton of liberty. You can choose which clients you want. You can choose what you work on. But man, you have to work for it. You have to make sure you have business coming through. You have to make sure that it's worth your time. But you got to keep at it. You got to keep at it and stay positive, right? Because you have a family behind you. I also wanted to make sure that my son was very comfortable with the changes happening in our household. So I wanted to make sure, you know, I played with him regularly, knowing that mommy was going to be kind of out of commission for a while, and she's gotten better. Like, I mean, you can imagine going into the third trimester, my wife with her belly, you know, it's difficult for her to get down on the floor to play toys with our eldest. So I wanted to make sure, and especially thereafter when she's recovering after childbirth, I wanted to set a good cadence of me coming in, playing, and him wanting to go after me. He still wants mommy every morning. He wakes up, womp, womp. But it's all right. I regularly do his bedtime routine, and in the morning when he calls for somebody, I'm the first one that answers. So, I mean, that begs the question, well, Edwin, what are your stress relievers? Well, honestly, I've been slacking on this end, y'all. With the new family dynamic, it's a little tough. We're all trying to find our groove. You know, how Edwin gets his groove back. I'm not entirely sure. Improv I really enjoyed that. I would say that was my main stress reliever prior to childbirth. But it requires time away from my family. Time I'm not as comfortable just yet committing to. Reading a book, it's not impossible, but it's just a little bit difficult, right? It's a little bit tough. Plus, I'm not sure what to read. Plus, it requires a lot of time. I'm not sure. Working out, it never happened before, less likely now. Now, of course, these can all be seen as excuses, right? I know if I apply myself, I surely can. But like I tell my wife, we have to be kind to ourselves. We're basically redefining who we are as an individual and as part of a family unit and trying to find our balance. I think we're doing a good job. I think we have our moments, of course, as anyone else. But we're doing a good job on the whole. Oh, stretching. Stretching is a big component still. Granted, I pulled my back not too long ago. It's still pretty big I'm still getting into big stretching on a regular basis. Not like yoga, but just here and there, target those muscles and just kind of do a quick stretch. I haven't been doing my out of body exercises or practices, and I miss those so much. The meditative and vibrational states. Those are a ton of fun to kind of tackle. They're very relaxing too. But having gotten to it, I think they will resurface really soon. So my next podcast, not sure what it's going to be about, but I want to put something out there in the next month. I'm thinking maybe pivoting away from books just for the short term. Okay. I love reading. It's a ton of fun. But I'm thinking of maybe finding a couple of good documentaries, something I can consume relatively easy. I know there's a lot of great documentaries out there. I want to watch movies, but I kind of don't want to like do a podcast on movies. I want to be a little more educational. I have been listening to other podcasts as well, so I'm getting inspiration on how I may want to treat this. But as far as stress relievers, that is a stress reliever, I guess. Watching movies. As far as movies I've watched a lot, way more than I did before my second child was born. Couple of examples, right off the bat, I watched Godzilla -1. Pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Godzilla vs. Kong, The New Empire. That was okay. The sci-fi and the action was pretty good. The story was all right. It was meh. Movie Pass, which was a documentary. Movie Pass, Movie Crash. Awesome documentary. I don't know if y'all knew about Movie Pass, but way back in the day, the 2010s, there was a service that came out called Movie Pass where you basically subscribe and you watch all the movies you want, everything you want. And the movie basically covers off the founders, creating the idea, trying to go in and get it started, getting funding, and then honestly, unfortunately, getting ousted from their company and then having the new, leaders of the corporation just plummet that thing down to the ground. Really cool documentary. Definitely recommend you watch it. I watched Archer, caught up on Archer. Funny, hilarious animation. I gave up on it a couple of years ago because I think it went away from Netflix. Came back on Netflix, caught up with it. Watched the last season on Hulu. I really enjoyed it. A couple of the actors ended up passing away in real life, so I was like, oh my gosh. Been watching Winnie the Pooh, surprising a little bit more. My eldest son is into it. I forgot how wholesome it was and how funny it could be, right? Really entertaining. I watched Acolyte, that Star Wars series. It wasn't bad. I liked it. I recommended it on a scale of 1 to 10. It was good. 1 to 10, it was, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something like that. It wasn't bad. The fight scenes were pretty darn good. But you know what irked me more than anything? It wasn't even a darn show. It was the community. Well, the Instagram algorithm gods, they got me. And I kept getting a whole bunch of Acolyte spoilers. And I was like, let me look at the comments. You really shouldn't do for your own health, mental health and sanity. Don't do it. But it's also kind of fun because sometimes it's really funny. But you know what? It's just every time people complain so much. It was really annoying. Worst episode. Every episode was like worst episode in the history of ever. It's like, chill, man. Chill. Go outside. Take a walk. Get away from the screen, I also watched Young Woman in the Sea. This one, my wife and I actually had a date night last week, and we watched this film, Young Woman in the Sea. I don't know if y'all know this. It's Daisy Ridley, Rey from the Star Wars sequel trilogy. She played Gertrude something or rather, but she was the first woman to swim across the English Channel. And you know what? Almost immediately, the movie, pulled me in. I love swimming, and she was a swimmer, so I really gravitated. I could really relate to the young woman, but I really enjoyed it. I really did. I think it takes place in the early 1900s, early 19 teens. Something I found out about it, based on everything I've been hearing, I thought it was direct to streaming, but my wife told me that it was actually released in theaters, but there wasn't a lot of promotion behind it, and it only got 500,000 in the box office. But after watching it, I was like, it was a pretty good movie. It was pretty darn good. I really enjoyed it. So I was surprised. Come on, Disney, or whomever does the promotion, get it together. So those are the films I've watched right now. I don't have an active series I watch, active TV series or movie series I watch. Actually, been listening to podcasts mostly. I really enjoy it. I want to get back into the improv stuff, but we'll see as things start to normalize. Oh, also, this is my 20th episode of the Out of Office Chat. I'm 20 episodes in, y'all. I'm celebrating by throwing a big party in downtown Chicago. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I don't have time for that. But seriously, if you listen this far, I thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like I mentioned, really early on, I started this podcast as a way to de-stress, and it really, really does help. And I'm going to keep doing it. Like I mentioned, over the next month, I'll be mulling over what I want to talk about, what I want to chat about. Again, it's supposed to be out of office, so it should be very zen, very relaxing, at least for me, right? So we'll see. We'll see. With that, I hope you've all enjoyed this episode. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate y'all dropping in, and if anything, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.